Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you is the foundation of all real power. The kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself, doesn't need to posture, doesn't need to fight for attention. True dominance is quiet. It moves slowly. It observes before it acts. When you enter a room with genuine calm, the entire atmosphere shifts, even if no one understands why. People tense up. They straighten their posture. Their instincts whisper that something about you is different, and they're right. Most people are controlled by their impulses, anger, envy, insecurity. They react to everything like leaves tossed in the wind. But you're going to be the storm that never moves, the stillness that bends others without lifting a finger. That's Machiavellian psychology at its core. The man who cannot be shaken becomes the man who cannot be manipulated. When you stay calm, you strip others of their power over you. Their attempts to provoke you fall flat. Their emotional games become useless. Your silence becomes a mirror, forcing them to see their own chaos while you remain untouchable. If you're ready to step into that version of yourself, comment this right now. My calm is my weapon. Section 1. The psychology of becoming untouchable. Before you learn to influence others, you must learn to control the battlefield inside your own mind. Most men crumble long before the world ever challenges them. They lose to their impulses, their doubts, their emotional storms. But not you. Not after today. You're going to rebuild yourself into someone who can walk through chaos without blinking, someone who understands that composure is more lethal than aggression. A man who stays calm gains an invisible advantage. He sees what others miss. He notices every insecurity, every hesitation, every emotional crack in the people around him. While they rush to speak, you listen. While they scramble to react, you observe. While they let their feelings run the show, you become the director. That's how power works. The one who controls himself naturally controls the room. Machiavellian psychology teaches one truth most refuse to accept. People are predictable when emotional and unpredictable when calm. So you become the calmest presence they've ever encountered. You speak less. You reveal nothing. You let silence do the intimidation for you, and people will wonder what you're hiding, even when you're hiding nothing. If you're locked in right now, comment this. Self-control is my superpower. Section 2. The art of controlled intimidation. Power isn't always about what you do. Often it's about what you don't do. A man who reacts instantly reveals everything, his fears, his weaknesses, his insecurities. But a man who pauses, who measures his response, who looks at the world through calm, calculating eyes, becomes an unsolvable puzzle. And people fear what they can't solve. That's why controlled intimidation is so effective. It's not loud, it's not theatrical, it's subtle. It's psychological. It's the moment someone realizes they can't predict you, can't manipulate you, can't get an emotional rise out of you no matter what they try. Your calmness becomes a weapon sharpened by patience. When someone challenges you, you don't rush to defend yourself. You let the silence stretch. Let them feel the weight of your stillness. People fill silence with their own anxieties, their own doubts. You give them nothing, and they begin to expose themselves without you saying a single word. In negotiation, in relationships, in conflict, the principle is the same. The one who stays composed controls the pace. The one who controls the pace controls the outcome. This is where dark psychology blends with stoicism. You're not using aggression, you're using presence. You're letting others project their fears onto your calm exterior. They'll wonder what you know. They'll second-guess their own decisions. They'll adjust their behavior around you, not because you demanded it, but because your energy forced it. Never underestimate the power of being the man who doesn't flinch, the man who doesn't rush, the man who speaks slowly, thinks sharply, and watches everything. From this point forward, you don't meet people's intensity. You neutralize it. You don't match their emotions. You control the emotional environment. If you understand this shift, comment below. My silence rewires the room. Section 3. Mastering the game behind the game. Every interaction you have, every conversation, every argument, every subtle exchange of glances happens on two levels. The surface level that everyone sees, and the hidden level where the real game is played. Most people only operate on the surface. They're distracted by tone, emotion, and ego. But the men who rise above them understand something deeper. Human behavior is predictable, and power goes to the one who sees the patterns before anyone else notices they exist. To master the game behind the game, you must train yourself to observe more than you speak. When someone enters a room, don't greet their words, greet their energy. Look at how they walk. Notice where their eyes go first. Watch how quickly they react to pressure. These micro signals reveal everything: insecurity, arrogance, desperation, dominance, uncertainty. And once you learn to read them, you'll understand people better than they understand themselves. But this mastery demands discipline. A discipline most men will never achieve. It means not letting your emotions cloud your vision. It means stepping back internally, even while you're standing in the middle of the moment. It means choosing analysis over impulse every single time. When someone tries to provoke you, your instinct will be to react. Don't. Reaction is the currency of the powerless. Instead, breathe. Hold your center. Let their emotion expose their intentions. A person who wants to influence you will always reveal their strategy through their intensity. A person who fears you will reveal it through their silence. A person who envies you will reveal it through their subtle shifts in tone. This is cold power psychology. Understanding motives without announcing your awareness. Observing without being observed. Reading the room while remaining unreadable. You don't need to win loud battles when you've already won the quiet ones. And here's the truth most people can't handle. When you move like this, others will feel it. They won't know why they're intimidated. They won't understand why they second-guess themselves around you. But they will. Your presence will disrupt their internal equilibrium. That's what happens when you operate with clarity while everyone else is lost in emotional fog. You're not just becoming stronger. You're becoming someone others unconsciously adjust their behavior for. If you're stepping into this level of awareness, comment, "I see the game, they can't." Section 4. Emotional distance, the shield of the unshakable. There's a reason the strongest men never crumble under pressure. They refuse to let anyone get close enough to destabilize their inner world. Emotional distance isn't coldness, it's strategy. It's the discipline of protecting your mind from forces that drain your focus, distort your judgment, and pull you into battles that were never worth fighting. The world is full of people who want to influence you through emotion, anger, guilt, flattery, fear. But when you detach, their weapons turn useless. Their attempts to sway you bounce off the armor of your composure, leaving them confused, frustrated, and powerless. This distance isn't about isolation, it's about clarity. When you're emotionally tangled, you misread motives and overlook opportunities. But when you step back, you see people as they truly are. You notice patterns in their behavior. You recognize hidden agendas. You identify where they want to pull you, and more importantly, why. Emotional distance gives you a vantage point others will never reach because they're too busy drowning in their reactions to notice the currents guiding them. Think about the last time someone tried to provoke you. Maybe they wanted a reaction, validation, or reassurance. Whatever their motive, they were fishing for control. When you detach, you deny them the emotional leverage they rely on. Instead of falling into their script, you write your own. This is where Stoicism merges with dark psychology. The ability to stay unmoved, unreadable, unreachable. The ability to let others feel the discomfort of not knowing what you think. People fear emotional ambiguity more than confrontation. When you don't react the way they expect, they lose confidence. They question their assumptions. They overanalyze your silence. They start revealing more than they intended simply because they're trying to understand you. That's the hidden power of emotional distance. You become the mystery they can't decode, and people always respect what they can't predict. Distance also prevents manipulation. Anyone who can trigger your emotions can steer your decisions. Anyone who can make you angry can provoke mistakes. Anyone who can flatter you can blind you. But when you maintain that internal space, you move with intention, not impulse. You stop giving people access to buttons they never should have been allowed to push. Your actions become deliberate, precise, and impossible to control. This is the psychology of being untouchable. Not by force, but by mastery. Not by dominance, but by restraint. You make your inner world a fortress, guarded, calm, and impenetrable. Others may knock, shout, demand, pressure, but they'll never enter unless you allow it. And that selective access is where your true power grows. Few earn your energy. Even fewer earn your trust. That scarcity makes you valuable. If you're ready to sharpen this shield around your mind, comment, "No one moves me mentally." Section 5. Dominating through presence rather than force. To rise above manipulation, you must become the one variable no one can control. Your presence must speak before you do, shaping the environment with a force that doesn't rely on aggression or theatrics. People expect dominance to be loud, confrontational, or outwardly intimidating. But true psychological authority moves differently. It's quiet, centered, deliberate, built on an unshakable sense of internal order. When you carry that kind of presence, you influence others without needing to lift a finger. They change their tone, they adjust their posture, they choose their words with greater caution. They do this because your energy demands respect long before your mouth ever opens. Presence is not an accident, it's a cultivated discipline. It begins with how you breathe, how you stand, how you observe the world. The men who command the most respect are not frantic, jittery, or easily stimulated. They move slowly. They choose silence over unnecessary explanations. They let others reveal themselves first. Every calm action, every measured glance, communicates confidence at a level that bypasses logic and goes straight to instinct. People feel your strength before they consciously acknowledge it. That unconscious reaction is where your influence is born. But presence also requires restraint. The instinct to prove yourself is a trap. When you rush to show strength, you reveal insecurity. When you overshare, you expose your mind. When you talk too much, you give away the playbook others will use against you. The strongest men understand the value of selective expression. They allow their actions, standards, and silence to speak on their behalf. This creates an aura of unpredictability, which is one of the most potent forms of dark psychological leverage. People fear what they cannot anticipate. Once you understand this, interactions transform. You stop entering rooms trying to fit in. You enter with the awareness that your energy shifts the dynamic by default. You aren't seeking validation. You're observing motives. You aren't trying to belong. You're determining whether the space deserves your presence. This internal shift radiates outward and subtly impacts every social exchange. The less you seek approval, the more authority you naturally project. This is where masculine stoicism strengthens your foundation. Stoicism teaches you to regulate your inner world so nothing external can disturb your equilibrium. Combined with Machiavellian insight, it becomes a strategic blueprint. Stay calm, stay unreadable, stay intentional. You no longer react, because reactions give people power. You respond only when it benefits you. You move only when it serves your long-term position. You become the man who is always 3 steps ahead while appearing perfectly still. People will sense this. They may not understand it, but they'll feel it. Your presence will force self-reflection in others. They will measure themselves against your calm. They will question their own confidence, decisions, and impulses. This psychological imbalance gives you influence without confrontation, and influence without effort is the highest form of power. If you're ready to command rooms through presence alone, comment, "My energy speaks louder than words." Section 6. The power of being unreadable and unpredictable. If you want to become truly untouchable, you must master the one trait that unsettles people more than anything else: unreadability. When no one can decode your thoughts, your motives, your emotional state, or your next move, they lose every advantage they thought they had. Most people are open books, loud, reactive, predictable. Their emotions betray them, their tone exposes them, their habits define them. But the man who refuses to be easily understood becomes a walking paradox, and paradoxes command attention. Your unpredictability becomes a psychological chokehold, tightening around anyone who underestimates you. Unreadability doesn't mean being distant for the sake of mystery. It means becoming strategically opaque. You share only what you choose. You reveal only what benefits you. When others expect a reaction, you give none. When they expect silence, you speak. When they expect explanation, you provide only what is necessary. This controlled contrast keeps them guessing, and that uncertainty drains their confidence. People crave patterns because patterns give them power. So when you refuse to fit into any pattern, you deny them the ability to influence your behavior. You position yourself above the emotional noise they're trapped in. Unpredictability is equally crucial. If others can anticipate your responses, they can manipulate your decisions. But when you operate with strategic fluidity, you become a force they cannot map. Sometimes you walk away from conflict. Sometimes you confront it head-on. Sometimes you smile at provocation. Sometimes you let silence freeze the air. Every move is intentional, never impulsive. You don't act based on emotion, you act based on outcome. This makes people uncomfortable because they can't anchor their expectations to anything solid. Your presence becomes a psychological climate shift, subtle but impossible to ignore. Think of every interaction like a chessboard. Most people play checkers, simple, predictable, reaction-based. But you're learning to play a deeper game. You're observing their openings, their emotional tells, their hidden desires. And while they think you're passive, you're actually gathering information. Unreadability gives you camouflage. Unpredictability gives you leverage. Together, they make you a strategist in a world full of impulsive players. The key is emotional stillness. When you don't broadcast your frustration, fear, excitement, or insecurity, others have no data to work with. They can't find your weaknesses because you don't display them. They can't predict your reactions because you don't hand them the patterns. The less they understand about you, the more they reveal about themselves. They speak more to fill your silence. They expose motives trying to earn your approval. They reveal insecurities while trying to interpret your facial expressions. This is the hidden brilliance of dark psychology. People unravel themselves in front of someone who doesn't unravel back. You hold the frame, you hold the pace, you hold the narrative. Not through force, but through psychological depth. When you become unreadable, you become the mirror that reflects their inner chaos. When you become unpredictable, you become the variable that disrupts their strategies. Others will feel this shift. Some will respect you more, some will feel threatened, some will try harder to impress you, and some will quietly resent your stability because it exposes their lack of it. None of that concerns you. Your focus is internal, on sharpening the composure that makes you impossible to manipulate. If you're ready to become the man no one can analyze, no one can corner, and no one can predict, comment below. My mind is a locked vault. Section 7. The psychology of silent strategic influence. There comes a point in a man's evolution where he realizes something profound. The most effective influence is not loud, forceful, or attention-seeking. It is quiet. It is subtle. It is the kind of influence that works beneath the surface, shaping outcomes without drawing unnecessary eyes. This is the essence of silent strategic influence, the Machiavellian art of bending situations, people, and opportunities in your favor without ever appearing to do so. While others try desperately to assert dominance through noise, you learn to guide the flow of events through intention, presence, and observation. To master this, you must first remove yourself from the emotional battlefield. The moment you stop reacting, you start controlling. Most people make themselves easy targets by broadcasting their intentions and insecurities. They reveal their desires through tone, their fears through hesitation, their weaknesses through over-explaining. But you must move differently. You speak with purpose, not eagerness. You listen with patience, not passivity. You ask questions that make people expose their internal world while you protect your own. Every word becomes a tool. Every silence becomes a strategy. Every response becomes a calculated step toward winning a larger game. Silent influence begins with presence. When you walk into a room grounded, calm, and self-contained, people feel your stability. They instinctively adjust to you because humans are wired to respond to the strongest emotional anchor in the environment. When you are that anchor, you set the emotional tone. You determine the pace. You decide the level of intensity. This is not dominance through intimidation. It is dominance through calibration. You calibrate the room by staying unaffected, and others subconsciously follow your lead. But the real power lies in your ability to guide without revealing the guidance. When you want something from someone, you don't demand it. You create a situation where giving it becomes their idea. That's the core of dark psychology. Strategic invisibility. You plant seeds through subtle comments, through controlled expressions, through timing. You let people come to conclusions that benefit you while believing those conclusions were their own. The man who can do this never has to argue. He never has to push. Influence becomes effortless because it is woven into the natural rhythm of the interaction. To amplify this influence, you must master emotional neutrality. If someone tries to provoke you, you don't tighten your jaw or raise your voice. You stay loose. You stay centered. Their attempts to destabilize you will ricochet back at them, exposing their lack of control. And once someone realizes they cannot shake you, their respect for you deepens, even if they don't admit it. That respect is leverage. People follow those they respect. People listen to those they cannot emotionally move. Your silence also has a psychological effect. Humans hate ambiguity. They fear the unknown. So when you don't immediately reveal what you're thinking, they fill the gaps with their own imagination, usually projecting more power onto you than you actually display. Silence forces them to show their hand first. It forces them to guess your motives. It forces them to evaluate themselves. And when someone is busy analyzing your silence, they become too distracted to analyze your strategy. The beauty of silent strategic influence is that it doesn't drain you. Loud dominance exhausts people. Constant confrontation burns energy. But stillness conserves. Stillness multiplies. Stillness allows you to think clearly, see the patterns, and make moves that others aren't patient enough to recognize. You become a man who influences the game without stepping onto the battlefield. You become the unseen force behind outcomes. You become the axis others unknowingly rotate around. If you're stepping into this level of power, comment below, "I guide the world without showing my hand." Section 8. The discipline of managing perception and controlling the frame. In the pursuit of becoming psychologically untouchable, there is a level of mastery that separates the merely confident from the truly formidable. The discipline of managing perception and controlling the frame in every interaction you enter. Most people stumble through life unaware that perception is currency and framing is power. They let others define the terms, shape the atmosphere, and dictate the emotional temperature. They surrender control of the narrative before the conversation even begins. But you are learning to move differently. You are learning that the one who controls the frame controls the reality. And that level of influence begins with discipline. Discipline over your expression, your energy, your tone, and your presence. Managing perception does not mean pretending or performing. It means shaping what others notice and minimizing what they should never see. A powerful man understands that every movement sends a signal. The way he sits, the way he listens, the way he pauses before speaking. People are always interpreting these signals, even when they don't realize it. So you discipline yourself to project stability, confidence, and intentionality. You show no agitation because agitation reveals weakness. You show no desperation because desperation invites exploitation. You reveal nothing that does not serve your long-term advantage. Controlling the frame means establishing the psychological territory of the interaction. When you walk into a situation, you decide whether the environment operates on urgency or patience, emotion or logic, chaos or calm. You become the thermostat, not the thermometer. The average person reacts to whatever emotional climate they encounter, but you create the climate. You set the tone. You decide the pace. By refusing to be pulled into other people's emotional velocity, you make them adjust to yours. And once they adjust to your pace, they adopt your frame without realizing it. This is why emotional discipline is essential. The moment you lose composure, you lose frame. And the moment you lose frame, you lose influence. A man who can hold his internal center becomes impossible to uproot. When someone tries to provoke you, you don't bite. When they try to pressure you, you don't fold. When they try to rush you, you slow the environment down with your breathing, your silence, and your unwavering presence. This is psychological gravity, the ability to pull others into your orbit. Another key to perception management is selective communication. Most people harm themselves by talking too much. The more they speak, the more they reveal. But when you speak with precision, only when necessary and only with intention, you gain the upper hand. Your words carry weight because they are scarce. Your silence becomes a force because it cannot be predicted. People feel compelled to fill your silence with their own disclosures, giving you information while receiving nothing in return. The frame you hold also determines how conflict unfolds. If you frame yourself as the one seeking validation, you lose. If you frame yourself as someone trying to win approval, you lose. If you frame yourself as an equal among chaotic minds, you lose. But when you frame yourself as the calm center of the situation, as the observer rather than the participant, you maintain psychological leverage. You do not argue from emotion. You do not negotiate from insecurity. You evaluate, decide, and act from a position of mental sovereignty. Understanding the mechanics of perception also lets you disappear when needed. Power is not about presence. It is about strategic absence. You withhold information. You reveal less than others expect. You maintain an air of controlled mystery. People respect what they cannot easily define. They lean in. They try harder. They wonder what lies beneath the stillness you project. And the more they guess, the more control you gain, because the mind automatically elevates what it cannot interpret. Controlling the frame means refusing to be emotionally drafted into situations that do not benefit you. You don't allow others to pull you into their urgency, their anxiety, or their resentment. You don't let their emotional storms dictate your decision-making. You establish the frame that everything slows down around you. People begin to soften their tone, lower their volume, and match your energy. They feel the stability coming off you, and subconsciously, they submit to it. This is not dominance. This is resonance, your internal order rearranging their internal chaos. You must also understand that perception is reinforced by consistency. If you maintain composure one day and lose it the next, people will sense instability. But if your calmness becomes a predictable pattern, your frame becomes unquestioned, people will expect you to be unmovable. They will bring their best behavior around you. They will choose their words with caution. They will try harder not to disappoint you. This is the power of psychological standards. The world rises or falls to meet them. Mastering perception and controlling the frame allows you to move through life with a quiet authority that does not need validation. Influence becomes effortless because your presence does the work. People trust your judgment because you never rush. They follow your lead because you never break. They respect your mind because you never expose it recklessly. This combination of subtle dominance and emotional discipline forms the backbone of true psychological strength. If you are ready to master the frame and command perception, comment, "I define the atmosphere." Section 9, Turning Inner Power into Outer Influence. To turn inner power into outer influence, you must understand that the world responds not to what you think, but to what you project. People cannot see your discipline, your thoughts, or your internal victories. They see your posture, your tone, your pace, your reactions. They feel your presence before they process your words. That is why the first step in projecting power is learning to carry yourself as someone who does not need validation. When your confidence is self-sustaining, people sense it instantly. They may not understand why, but they instinctively adjust themselves around you. Humans follow the internal gravity of someone who is centered, controlled, and purpose-driven. Outer influence is built on the ability to direct a room without demanding attention. To do this, you must move with deliberate calm. When you walk into a space with grounded energy, your presence disrupts the emotional static others operate in. Your steadiness becomes a silent signal. I am not here to compete. I am here to lead. People soften their tone, measure their responses, and subconsciously align with your rhythm. This is how inner mastery becomes external authority, not through force, but through emotional resonance. But resonance alone is not enough. Power requires strategy. You must become intentional about your boundaries, because boundaries communicate value more loudly than any speech. When you decline invitations that do not serve you, people learn to respect your time. When you speak only after processing your thoughts, people learn to respect your voice. When you refuse to engage in emotional chaos, people learn to respect your composure. Boundaries are the architecture of influence. They show the world how to treat you without you ever having to explain yourself. Outer influence also demands mastery over the pace of interaction. Most people rush their words, rush their decisions, rush their reactions. This exposes insecurity. You, however, slow things down. You speak only when ready. You move only when necessary. You let silence work for you. Silence unsettles the emotional, challenges the impulsive, and reveals the insecure. When you become comfortable with silence, you gain a psychological advantage. Others reveal themselves trying to fill the space you intentionally leave open. Another critical aspect of outward influence is the ability to hold eye contact without aggression. When you look at someone with relaxed focus, you project certainty. You signal that you are fully present, fully aware, and fully in control of yourself. There is no intimidation needed. The steadiness in your gaze does the work. People trust a man who is not easily distracted, shaken, or overwhelmed. They sense capability in your stillness. To project power, you must also stop chasing outcomes. Influence weakens the moment you appear attached. If you need someone's approval, you lose leverage. If you need a specific reaction, you lose authority. Outer influence requires detachment. You must show through your demeanor that any outcome is acceptable because you can adapt to all of them. Detachment communicates abundance. Abundance of options, abundance of confidence, abundance of direction. That perception increases your influence without effort. Timing is another tool in your arsenal. A powerful man does not react instantly. He observes first. He lets others show their intentions. He waits for the exact moment where a single sentence, a single gesture, or a single decision shifts the entire dynamic. This is not hesitation. It is strategy. It makes your actions feel precise rather than emotional. People respect precision because it demonstrates discipline. Outer influence also comes from your ability to remain unshaken under pressure. The world watches how you respond to adversity. If your calm collapses, your influence dissolves. But if you maintain your center, people begin to associate you with strength. They look to you during moments of uncertainty. They rely on your stability when their own emotions betray them. This is how leaders emerge, not through claiming authority, but through demonstrating it. When inner power becomes outer influence, you no longer need to assert yourself. Your presence speaks first. Your behavior reinforces it. Your discipline amplifies it. People follow you naturally because your internal order creates external structure. That is the ultimate form of psychological power. Not needing to dominate, yet effortlessly guiding the direction of every room you enter. If you're ready to project your inner strength into the world, comment. My presence reshapes the environment.